to be amidst professionals here working in the AI space as well as academia. So since morning we have been talking about media ethics, and we've discussed the coming in of fake news and manipulated images and all of that. So now we are going to discuss how AI has affected all forms of media. And the question is directed to all present here, and we will take it from there. AI is being integrated into journalism, content creation, and audience engagement. I would specifically target it to Mr. Venkataraghavan because he's working in the media space. AI is being integrated into journalism, content creation, and audience engagement. From your fields, how have you seen AI reshape the media landscape?
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, DG Vaishnav, Dr. Vasant. So, it's not exactly a small plugin, but I'm just going to tell you what's happening right now. As you can see, I'm from the Federal, and two of my colleagues are over here. They don't have your camera. They have 3 iPhones, all right? And they are recording this in multiple angles, right? We're not doing it directly to the cloud, but they could do it to the cloud. And this particular video, there's a custom AI model which has been built way back at the Federal, and based on a bunch of prompts which Blessina, who's a video journalist, she runs a bunch of prompts, and the story gets automatically generated from that, right? Now, of course, are we going to just go and publish it out there? No, definitely not. There is this, we are not yet there where, this morning the chief guest said, I went and asked GPT something and gave me wrong information. Of course it is, because it's hallucination. What large language models are essentially doing is guessing the next word in a sequence, right? And so that's where you need to get guardrails and prompt engineering and things like that to, you get what you need, you're looking for or what. And most importantly, there's always a human in the loop, right? So at Federal, and nothing goes out to the reader which has not gone past the eyes of the journalist or the editor. So it's not like some content just gets created by, everybody here, I'm sure, do their homework using GPT, right? So, it's now become commonplace. There's no doubt about it, but yes, there's always human in the loop. One more thing is, especially at the Federal, and there's a best practice that we are trying to put in place, is that there will be a disclaimer after every such story, right? So the story would say, this is being generated using our custom Federal AI model, and it has gone through an editorial feedback, and we strive to give you the best journalism, but there is definitely a human in this. So this is one aspect or one use case. The Federal also has multiple, we are now into multiple languages. We are looking to scale into multiple languages. So this whole thing about 2017-18 is when this attention mechanism attention mechanism came out. It actually came out as a solution to the translation problem, because it could do translation more accurately. So that's one use case which we are seeing at media. We've been able to scale quickly. The Federal was launched 2019, but now with Gen AI, we are into Telugu, Kannada, and Hindi, and we essentially use these tools. We use multiple tools to scale. And of course, there are a bunch of other use cases like generating scripts, generating podcasts. We are looking at audio and things also. I'm sure over the conversation, we could be discussing more on this, and I really look forward to this discussion, especially with academics, especially with fact-checking. One thing I was just telling Uni, which has been, they've left out that he's a great singer. He does amazing Carnatic concerts in the month of December. And one thing is for sure, people talk about AI replacing jobs and things like that. Certainly, Uni's singing is not going to be replaced. I'd like to wind off by saying this. People have always been doing things. When there are tools with which those things you can do better, people then start doing better things. So I think things like job loss and stuff like that might be, it's there, it's a concern, and which as a society we will have to address, but I don't think we should also fall for the hyperboles in that. So I'm preempting on this. Thanks.
Okay, I have another question, maybe a little naive, because I'm, like many of us here, are still new to the technology. I would like to direct a question directly to you, Mr. Venkat. This is about, so AI and algorithms, both are a problem. So if when a lot of us are talking about the same thing, how do you ensure what throws up, in spite of you using AI and things like that, when people are searching to find the relevant information? Whatever you are sending may not be, whatever you are putting up on the forums may not reach people.
So you're talking essentially about bias associated. First and foremost, when you're looking at algorithms, we have had these algorithms for quite some time, right? So it's not like Google has suddenly last couple of years decided what goes out or what does not go out, right? It's a tough question. There's no doubt at all about, there are no easy answers also to what you put. Right now, there are, I think, elements of crowdsource which is involved in this, right? But, I really honestly don't have a correct answer, so to say, to this. So
it was out of curiosity because you had mentioned about hallucination and things like that. So I was also thinking what contributes to all that, because there is a lot of information out there.
So I'll deal about the hallucination. So hallucination, essentially what you talk about. So what is this whole large language model, right? So it has been, your models have been pre-trained or exposed to large amount of text, right? And then it sees sentences or phrases in a particular pattern, right? And it has analyzed that these words or these phrases go about in this pattern in a particular sentence, and hence uses the same logic to predict what the sentence is going to be in the next case, right? So I'm not even sure whether you should be using large language model as a tool for things like, real-time search, or of course they're now included into that, right? Basically, my take is there are essentially 5 use cases or 5 things for which we use language for, which I call as the GISTS model, which is generate, instruct, summarize, translate, speak, bar, chat, right? Essentially, this is what you do with language, right? You use language, you generate content, right? And the same thing applicable to large language models. You generate content, you give it instruction to the model to give you something. You summarize a whole lot of text into a smaller entity, you translate, and then you speak or chat, right? So this is the starting point of these large language models, and essentially that's what,
Right, I think I asked the question that was the wrong question. I got confused between the search engine part and the AI, because we would be, I think to prompt a right answer, maybe we could also give the sites and, content and ask the...
Context, yeah, context.
Right. To Mr. Ian, I'd like to pose a question. Are there instances where AI-generated misinformation has been particularly difficult to tackle at the government level?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for asking the question. So, yeah, of course, AI is a new threat to the media in a way, and for public also. நிறைய ஃபேக் நியூஸ் வந்துட்டுருக்கு. ஐ திங்க் பசங்க டிஸ்ட்ராக்ட் ஆகிறாங்க, தமிழ்லேயே பேசாதனால நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ லெட் அஸ் கோ வித் தமிழ். ஸோ ஏஐனால் நிறையா ஃபேக் நியூஸ் வருதா? நிறைய வருது. நிறையா ஸ்கேம்ஸ் நடக்குதா? நிறையா ஸ்கேம்ஸ் இருக்குது. எஸ், அஃப்கோர்ஸ். ஸோ ஏஐயில் என்னெல்லாம் நடந்துகிட்ருக்கு அப்படின்றது நம்ம தின வாழ்வில் என்னவெல்லாம் நம்ம சந்திக்கிறோன்றதையும் சேர்த்து தான். இந்த ஸ்கேம்ஸ் இன்றைக்கி நிறைய ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்குது. அந்த வாய்ஸை நம்ம ட்ரெயின் பண்ணிட்டா, நிறைய வாய்ஸ் உள்ள ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் பர்சனோட வாய்ஸ் ஆன்லைனில் இருக்குன்னா அதை எடுத்துகிட்டு வி கேன் ட்ரெயின் அண்ட் அவங்க பேசாததை பேசினது போல் நம்மளால் உருவாக்குறதுக்கான வாய்ப்பு இருக்குது. அது ஒரு பெரிய பிரச்சனை. ஸோ ஸ்கேமாக இருக்கட்டும் அல்லது ஃபேக் நியூஸாக இருக்கட்டும், அது ஈஸியாக ஜென்ரேட் பண்ண முடியும். இன்னொன்று, இன்றைக்கி இருக்கிற அந்த ஜென்ரேட்டிவ் மாடல்ஸில் like ChatGPT or other related similar things. What challenges we can, real challenges, like we can ask whatever the question we want, and we can generate fake news also. That is a serious threat. People may ask a question to create a fake news about a person or about a particular issue, and even நம்மளால் ஒரு ஆர்டிக்கிள் எழுதணும் அப்படின்னா நம்ம அந்த ஆர்டிக்கிளை வந்து ஒரே விஷயத்தை பாசிட்டிவாகவும் எழுதி தர சொல்லி கேட்கலாம், நெகட்டிவாகவும் எழுதி தர சொல்லி கேட்கலாம், நியூட்ரலான ஸ்டாண்ட்லேயும் எழுதி தர சொல்லி கேட்க முடியும். அப்போ இஃப் அ பர்சன் ஹியூமன் எழுதுனா வர்ற ஒப்பீனியனை விட ரொம்ப கம்போஸ்டாக டார்கெட்டடாக ஒரு ஃபேக் நியூஸை ரொம்ப அழகாக புரிகிற மாதிரி கன்வின்சிங்காக கூட எழுதிட முடியுன்ற ஒரு பெரிய பிரச்சனை இருக்குது. ஏஐ இஸ் நாட் ஜஸ்ட் லைக் ஏதோ ஒரு வீடியோவை மார்க் பண்ணிடுவாங்க, வாய்ஸ் மார்க் பண்ணுறாங்கன்றதையும் தாண்டி இருக்கிற ஒரு பெரிய சிக்கல் இருக்குது. அண்ட் எஸ் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் லாங்குவேஜோட ஒரு அட்வான்டேஜ் என்னென்னா இன்னும் தமிழில் வந்து அவ்வளோ ஃபேக் நியூஸை ஜென்ரேட் பண்ண முடியல. அதே நேரத்தில் நீங்கள் இங்கிலீஷ் வந்து ரொம்ப கம்ஃபர்டபுளாக இருக்குது, லிப்ஸிங்காக இருக்கட்டும் அல்லது வந்து இன் மெனி வேஸ் நம்மளால் ஈஸியாக வந்து ஒரு இமேஜ் ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணும்போது எந்த ஸ்பெல்லிங் மிஸ்டேக்கும் இல்லாமல் ஒரு கண்டென்ட்டை ஒரு மீமை வந்து இங்கிலீஷில் பண்ணிட முடியுது. தமிழ் ரொம்ப ஒரு கடுமையான லாங்குவேஜுங்கிறனால அது அவ்வளவு எளிமையாக அதை பண்ணுறதுக்கான வாய்ப்பு இல்லாமல் இருக்குது. அது ஒரு முக்கியமான விஷயம் நினைக்கிறேன்.
Very interesting. So, Dr. Jayakrishnan, would you like to say something about your thoughts on AI and media?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, DG Vaishnav and Vasant ma'am for having invited me. Before I begin to respond to ma'am's point there, let me just tell that it's a very, very opportune moment for me to come here because this is where my guru, Sri Nevili Santana Gopalan sir, did his course way back. So, some way it's quite nostalgic for me to come to the place where my guru did his course. That is to do with my Carnatic side. Now, coming back to answer ma'am's question. So I thought I'll focus a little bit on film and the AI part. That's what because given that we have experts in all areas, so this is where I thought I can just look into what is happening currently. So I'll just give a few introductory statements in that angle, and then as and when the discussion pursues, we can take it forward. So if you look at the current scenario, we can see that we are at this juncture where film as an industry is changing. We have had Google Veo, Sora AI, and many other video generation platforms as an AI text to image, image to video generation platforms are bringing up really, really brilliant videos, as you can see. And recently, I don't know, the film aficionados sitting here, you might have seen there is a lovely new film called Greyhound, which has been completely made using Google Veo. It's an animation film, but now can we call it an animation film? I mean, an AI-generated film, can we call it an animation film? That's a very interesting question, but it is promoted as an animation film made through Google Veo. Then again, there are many other interesting platforms which have evolved. One is this Halio AI, which is a Chinese platform, which has come up with some very interesting thing called director mode. So what is director mode? It lets you create video through it and also gives you complete control over how you want it generated, as in you can bring in, if you want a tight close-up, if you want a tilt, or if you want to add a track shot, whatever it is. So it gives you complete control of the visual that it has generated, and the way you want it done from a directorial point of view, it lets you do it. And there are many more. There is Pika Pika 2.1, I think. They have some brilliant, if you just Google about it, you can find some lovely videos created through it. Even professional advertising agencies have started using Pika to create advertisements where, it gives you much photorealistic, feel through what it generates. And also there are many other such evolving platforms to which we'll come later. This is on the one side. You see development from the image production, video production angle on the one side, and on the other side, you see the ethical issues coming in, which I think would be the crux of what I'm trying to put in here. So there, what we're seeing, say for instance, US, if you look at the US copyright laws, recently was, it has included that AI-generated text content with minimal amount of AI, that is, if it has been used for AI assistance to write, be it script, be it book, can still be within the purview of copyright, as in the human who has authored it with AI assistance can claim for authorship there, In the same document, they're telling that if you've just entered the prompts and if whatever is generated out of the prompts is your text, then you cannot claim authorship. So you can see there is a dilemma in the very same document, on both sides of the story.
I didn't get the contradiction. Could you repeat that, please?
On the one side, it says that if the person has used the assistance minimally, then he can claim copyright for it. Yeah. At the same time, it is telling that if the human behind the system has done very minimal job and if it is a prompt-based complete thing, then copyright cannot be given. So where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? So the same thing is applicable to image generation and everything. I think we'll take that discussion forward as and when the opportunity rises.
Thank you. Very interesting and very thought-provoking. As in, where do we draw the line? Because everything, to get anything out of AI, GPTs, any kind of GPTs, it's a prompt that works. So, how do you measure as to, the prompt versus, what can be given copyright? Yeah, so we'll come back to that. Dr. Deborah, I'd like to give your views on AI and, your thing, AI and media, AI and social media.
Yeah.
And we'll take it from there.
Right. So good afternoon to the esteemed panelists on the dais. My thanks to Dr. Vasant for inviting me over. So this might interest you. I know a bunch of students are all very disturbed right now, being the afternoon. But I think you will have to take this into consideration when it comes to social media right now, because all of you right now are surviving on social media. You do not even need food or water when it comes to social media. And you get really agitated when we deprive you of your Wi-Fi or your internet, and it really disturbs you. So you need to question yourself right now where you guys stand, because AI is right now have taken completely over social media. And do you know that Facebook, if you go to a social gathering, and you don't even tell that person's name, but you've just met that person and you get back home, or you don't even get back home, you stand there, you open your Facebook or your Instagram, immediately it pops up saying, your friend's suggestion comes over. How do you think Facebook or Insta, for that matter, really does it? So there's facial recognition that happens even when you are talking with another person, even while you are conversing with another person. Right now, as we speak, there are so many devices that pick your words, or even pick your language, or even understands what you want in life, right? So I feel that is pretty scary out there right now, because AI has completely taken over, and as we speak, there is so much of data privacy issues that is happening. There's a lot of threat that is going on. So many data has been compromised. Our own personal data has been compromised by larger companies, right? Like Facebook, for example, and things like this are going on. So as students, I definitely put a word of caution to all of you right here, because all of you are living on that. So it's high time that as individuals we take responsibility to use this social media or AI-driven media to be really cautious, right? And to use it with utmost responsibility. Thank you.
Right. One question, I'm back to Mr. Ian. Do you think that AI-driven fact-checking can replace human expertise?
I don't believe AI in this way. It can be helpful to verify the data when we use if there is a data, if we need a data comparison, we can go with that. And if we want to extract detail from the data which a human cannot read, it maybe have many pages to read or understand, so we can use that. In that way, it will be helpful to fact checking, but I don't think it will replace the human. So fact checking involves of course it involves the journalism and the tools, It's always in that way. So it's not easy to replace a human with AI. ஸோ இதில் நிறைய சிக்கல்களும் இருக்குது. எத்திக்கல் கொஷின்ஸ் லைக் வாட் ஹீ ரைஸ்ட், லைக் காப்பிரைட்ஸ். இன்றைக்கி வந்து ஏஐனா நம்ம வந்து புதுசாக பை இட் செல்ஃப் அது சிந்திக்குதுன்னு நினச்சிட்ருக்கோம். அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது. ஏஐ எங்கேருந்து சிந்திக்கும்னா இட்ஸ் அ ரிஃபைன்ட் சர்ச் அண்ட் அதோட இன்னொரு ஸ்டேஜ் இருக்குது, அவ்வளோதான். அது என்ன ஸ்டேஜ் அப்படின்னா, இப்போ கூகுளில் நம்ம தேடி நிறைய வெப்சைட்டில் தேடி நமக்கு தேவையான தகவல் எடுப்போம். அதை எல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்து நம்ம ஒரு மாதிரி அதை கம்பைல் பண்ணிக்குவோம் இல்லையா. வேறு சைட்டில் தேடி அதெல்லாம் கரெக்டான டேட்டான்னு நமக்கு தேவையானபடி கம்பைல் பண்ணுவோம். அந்த கம்பைலையும் சேர்த்து பண்ணித்தர்ற ஒரு டூலாக இன்றைக்கி வந்து இந்த ஜென்ரேட்டிவ் ஏஐ நமக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுது. அவ்வளோதான். அது தனியாக புதுசாக சிந்திக்குமானா கண்டிப்பாக கிடையாது. பட் வாட் இட் வில் டூ இஸ், ரெண்டு இடத்துல சிந்திக்கிறத கம்பைன் ஒரு நமக்கு சேர்த்து நமக்கு காட்டுறதாக இருக்கலாம். அல்லது வந்து நிறைய டேட்டாவிலேருந்து அனலைஸ் பண்ணுறதுனால இட் வில் கிவ் அ நியூ ஐடியா. பட் it will not be a completely new one. With whatever the inputs we are giving, whatever the data it been get trained, with that only it can give a புதுசை போல நமக்கு ஒரு விஷயம் தர வேண்டியது தவிர கம்ப்ளீட்லி நியூவாக ஒரு விஷயம் தர்றதில்லை. அதை நம்ம அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்கணும். அதனால் ஏஐ பார்த்து நம்ம பயப்படுறதை தாண்டி ஸ்டில் இட் வில் ரெக்வயர்ஸ் த ஹியூமன் இன்டர்வென்ஷன், நம்மளோட இனோவேட்டிவான தாட், புது வேர்ட்ஸ். இப்போ ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங் இன்றைக்கி வந்துருச்சு, உலகம் முழுக்க ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங் பற்றி பேசிகிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ இஃப் வி சர்ச் எனிதிங் அபவுட் ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங் வி வில் கெட் ஐடியா அண்ட் வி வில் கெட் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் த ஏஐ டு வாட் எவர் ஜெனரேட்டிவ் மாடல்ஸ் ஆர் தேர். பட் இப்போ ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங்னே ஒன்று இல்லை, இன்டர்நெட்டில் ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங்கிற வார்த்தையே இல்லை. வி ஆர் ஸ்டார்டிங் நியூ அப்படின்னா அதால் சொல்ல முடியாது. நம்ம தான் வந்து அந்த இன்புட்டை தர்றோம். ஸோ அந்த விஷயத்தையும் சேர்த்து தான் நம்ம ஏஐ புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
பட் பாசிபிலிட்டி ஆஃப் பயஸ் இஸ் தேர் இல்லையா? இப்போ நீங்கள் எந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எடுத்தாலுமே அது வந்து அன்பயஸ்டாக இருக்கிற பாசிபிலிட்டி உண்டா?
அஃப்கோர்ஸ் அது ஏஐலேயும் நம்ம ட்ரெயின் பண்ணுறதை பொறுத்து தானே. நம்ம ட்ரெயின் பண்ணும்போது அஃப்கோர்ஸ் இன்றைக்கி இருக்கிற எல்லா சோசியல் மீடியா மேலேயும் ஒரு குற்றச்சாட்டு. இப்போ உதாரணத்துக்கு இஸ்லாமோஃபோபிக் கண்டென்ட் அப்படின்னா அதை வந்து ஏஐ ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணுது. ஏஐயில் ஒரு இமேஜ் ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணுறோன்னா இஸ்லாமோஃபோபிக் கண்டென்ட்டை ஒரு முஸ்லீமை தவறாக சித்தரித்து மோசமாக சித்தரித்து அதை வந்து வெளியிடுறாங்க. இப்போ வெளியிடுறாங்கன்னா மெட்டாலையும் வருது, அல்லது வந்து எக்ஸ்லேயும் வருது, அல்லது வேறு சைட்ஸில் வருது. வாட் ப்ரோட்டோகால் வி ஹேவ்? ஸோ இந்த ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணுறதே தப்பு அப்படின்ற அந்த நாலேஜ் எப்போ வரும்? இட் வில் டேக் டைம் அண்ட் வி வாண்ட் டு ஃபைட். அந்த மாதிரியான கண்டென்ட் வந்து இன்றைக்கி நிறைய இன்டர்நெட்டில் இருந்துகிட்டே இருக்குது. ஹேட்டை ப்ரொபகேட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு டெக்னாலஜி ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்குது, நம்மளால் ஸ்டாப் பண்ண முடியல. அதே மாதிரி இந்த பயசஸ் வந்து இருந்துக்கிட்டே தான் இருக்குது த்ரூஅவுட் த இந்த சோஷியல் மீடியாவோட வளர்ச்சிக்கு பின்னால். ஒரு பொலிட்டிக்கல் கலர் திரும்ப வந்துக்கிட்டே இருக்குது. ஹவ் இட் பீங் யூஸ்ட் ஃபார் த எலெக்ஷன்ஸ், ஹவ் தே மேனிப்புலேட் பீப்புள், ஹவ் தே ஒர்க் ஃபார் ப்ரொபகண்டா. எதை ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க, எதை கொஷின் பண்ணுறாங்க, வாட் தே ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ட், வாட் தே கொஷின், வாட் தே அலோ. தீஸ் ஆர் ஆல் த மேஜர் திங்ஸ் வி வாண்ட் டு திங்க் அபவுட். So it's about the mentality of the, it's not about just the mentality of, it's just the skeleton of the technology. It's about the mentality of the people who owns the companies and how they politically aligned with various countries and how they are communicating with them. What are all the business plays in this? அதெல்லாம் வந்து ஒரு பெரிய ஃபேக்டராக இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
Dr. Deborah, so what do you think should be, what kind of skills should media students and professionals develop to stay relevant in this AI integrated media?
Okay, so I'd like to take off from what Mr. Ayan Karthikeyan said. So he just spoke on, election and politics and how it's been manipulated. I would like to remind you of something that happened at the US during the 2016 Trump's election. Okay, so this was called as the Cambridge Analytica. So what happened was, you're all Facebook users, and there was a survey that popped up on Facebook, and because of that survey, 87 million users' data was compromised. Can you imagine? 87 million users' data was compromised. And when that data was compromised, they used that particular data to actually manipulate the voters, to propagate politics after the survey. And this was sold to the UK Cambridge Analysis, and there was a whistleblower who worked for Cambridge Analytica who came forward and he said, this has happened and this needs to stop. Only after he said, did it come to the limelight, and Mark Zuckerberg was put on the spotlight, and to everyone's awe, he said it happened. He accepted. And he had to pay 5 billion USD. Okay, money is money. He's gonna earn triple or how many ever times more through Facebook or Instagram or whatever content we are giving him, right? But imagine 87 million users, not only my data was compromised, it also compromised my friends' data without even me giving proper permission. Right? So you will have to be very, very careful as students answering ma'am's question here right now. So when you and I take the survey, as a student or as an individual right now, you may take the survey, or you may, happily do whatever you want on social media or whatever, forum that you are in. But are you questioning yourself that whether your data is compromised, or are you socially responsible by knowing what it is and then indulging yourself in it? So I think as media students, more than others, you will have to be very, very careful when it comes to AI and technology and media. Because your sense of responsibility, because when you go outside after your studies, the world is going to pressurize you to the maximum. And it's going to tell you this is not this is not wrong, you can do this. You can be carried away with all that because it's going to give you name, fame, or whatever. It's going to make you a multi-millionaire. All that is going to come. But ask yourself whether you're doing the right thing or not in the process. So if you answer yourself, if you, I think, be true to yourself by learning what it is, by actually understanding what the pros and cons of AI will be as a media professional, I think you'll be able to do justice to what you learn. Thank you.
Right. I'm coming back to both of you, Dr. Deborah and Dr. Jayakrishnan, shortly. But before that, because you mentioned Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, I can't but talk about this thing which happened just in January. And that is Meta shelved fact-checking and policy reversal ahead of Trump administration. Mr. Venkat, what do you have to say about that?
That should rightly be answered by Ian. But yeah, so I actually have a contrarian or a different view for 2 points, and to say one is on the aspect of copyright that was brought about based on the training data, right? Now, let's look at it this way, right? So when is it a copyright violation? If there is a textbook of yours, I take and I reproduce it that way, which, to be honest, in 90s, used to, my engineering, you should know, we used to take photocopies of books. You could get away saying, we were not a poor country then, nothing about IP. But let's look at it, what's happening in the AI context. It's actually it learns, so that's exactly how the models are doing, right? So let's say as a professor, you are a lecturer, you are learning a concept, and then as a teacher, you're going and teaching that to your student, correct? Is that copyright violation? I don't think so, right? Now, applying the same with AI models, right? That's what the AI models are doing. It's actually learning. And let's be honest, actually, the other aspect which is not thought about is this whole thing about this deep learning. It's still a black box. We still don't know how it does what it's doing. We all know this, what everybody here is, I'm like certain 99% here are doing their homework with ChatGPT, okay? Let's not even, but
that's where my next question is coming to.
Right, but so this is learning. As long as it's not regurgitating whatever is over there, it is content which has been learned and it's being put out in a particular format. So I do understand there's a tricky gray area. There are a lot of, Europe has come out with regulation on this, but we don't know. We don't know as things are unraveling, and I think we should have that humility to say, look, we don't know, let's figure this out together, right? And I think that's where we are as far as this technology is concerned. Definitely I envy the people, students doing things, because I think this is one of the most exciting times. Of course, there is responsibility and we need to get that imbibed early into it, but I think the question is, should be for Ayan on the fact.
Rightly so, yes. Mr. Ayan, your views on it.
Again, I want to add points also, like copyrights வந்து ரொம்ப tricky மட்டும் இல்லை. We have to understand something else also. If I'm creating an original content, and many people over there will write some content that is their own work. They will go to the field and understand the situation, and they will write an article about a particular thing. And what AL will do is, or the generator will do is, that will compare all the data and they will use it. So if we want to read about a particular issue, what we will do, if we are going to use the prompt and we are going to give an prompt instruction, and what we will get it, all our 10 data will be compared and they will get a compile idea. So they will not come to my site, they won't come to read what my view is, but they will use ChatGPT or some AI thing, right? So 10 பேரோட உழைப்பும் அங்கே காணாம போகும். ஸோ தட் இஸ் a serious issue. அது வந்து எஸ் தட்ஸ் ஹவ் இட் ஒர்க்ஸுங்கிறதோட அது முடியாது அப்படின்றது தான் அதில் முக்கியமானது. இந்த 10 பேரோட உழைப்பு, 10 பேரும் வேறு வேறு இடங்களுக்கு போய் கான்டாக்ட் டெவலப் பண்ணி அந்த ஸ்டோரியை ஃபீல்ட்லேருந்து ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ணுறாங்கல்ல, அது தட் கேனாட் பி கில்டில். அது வந்து இட்ஸ் a serious issue ஆல்சோ. இன் ஃபியூச்சர் மீடியாவோட ஒர்க் எல்லாமே வந்து இப்படி காணாமல் போகிறதோ அல்லது ரிசர்ச்சாக இருக்கலாம், வாட் எவர் மேபி, அது வந்து ஒரு சீரியஸ் இஷ்யூ தான். அண்ட் ஐ எம் கம்மிங் பேக் டு எ கொஷின், லைக் ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங் அவங்க என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா, தேர்ட் பார்ட்டி ஃபேக்ட் செக்கர்ஸை வச்சு இஃப் தெர் இஸ் அ ஃபேக் நியூஸ் தே வில் மார்க் இட் அஸ் ஃபேக். இஃப் இட் இஸ் அ மிஸ்லீடிங் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் தே வில் மார்க் இட் அஸ் மிஸ்லீடிங். இப்போ நீங்கள் ஒரு செய்தி பார்க்குறீங்க, அந்த செய்தி பொய்யா இருக்குது அல்லது தவறான தகவலோடு இருக்குது அப்படின்னா, ஃபேஸ்புக் யூஸ் டு மார்க் யூஸிங் த தேர்ட் பார்ட்டி இண்டிபெண்டன்ட் ஃபேக்ட் செக்கர்ஸ். அதை இப்போ டேக் டவுன் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. Due to the political scenario of US believes that there is no requirement for fact checking itself. They do have different idea. Trump itself used to post many fake information in the history. So தலைவன் எவ்வளியோ அவளியே அப்படின்ற மாதிரி நம்ம வந்து அதற்குள்ளே போகிற மாதிரி ஒரு நிலைக்கு ஃபேஸ்புக் தள்ளப்பட்டுச்சு. இன்னொரு விஷயம் என்ன அப்படின்னா, கண்டென்ட் வந்து ஜென்ரேட் ஆகும். சோஷியல் மீடியாவில் நிறைய கண்டென்ட் ஜென்ரேட் ஆகும். நீங்கள் ஒன்று போஸ்ட் பண்ணுவீங்க, நான் ஒன்று போஸ்ட் பண்ணுவேன். ஃபோட்டோவாக இருக்கலாம், வீடியோவாக இருக்கலாம், டெக்ஸ்ட்டாக இருக்கலாம். அதில் ஒரு நிறுவனமாக பார்த்தா அவங்களுக்கு என்ன இருக்குது, அது ரைட் ராங் இஸ் நாட் தயர் ஹெடேக். Some content should be there in the social media. Someone should read, someone should comment, someone should share. That's what their requirement. So fact checking is unwanted for them. It's time consuming. They want to spend on that. Why they want to fact check? Why they want to do that and all? That is not the necessary thing for a technology. Where comes the users? உலகம் முழுக்க வந்து இந்த ஃபேக் நியூஸ்னால சில வேற கொள்வது மாதிரியான விஷயங்கள்லாம் வந்துச்சு. குழந்தை கடத்தல் கும்பல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பிரச்சனை வந்துச்சு. இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு வேர்ல்டு செனாரியோ வரும்போது அவங்க ஒரு அழுத்தத்துக்குள்ளே வந்தாங்க. நிறைய நாடுகள் கேள்வி கேட்டுச்சு, உன்னோடதுல தான் கலவரங்களை வந்து அது தூண்டுற மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு, வயலன்ஸ் இன்ஸ்டிகேட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு.
இந்தியாவில் நிறையவே நடந்திருக்கு.
ஆமாம், அதை வந்தவுடனே பீப்புள் ஸ்டார்ட் டு கொஷனிங். நிறைய கவர்னிங் பாடி கொஷின் கேட்க ஆரம்பித்தாங்க. கொஷின் கேட்க ஆரம்பித்தோடனே இந்த உலகத்தில் இருக்கிற எல்லா அமைப்புகளும் என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா, ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங்க்கு இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுத்தாங்க. ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங் ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ஸுக்கு வந்து இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுத்தாங்க, அவங்களோட இன்கார்பரேட் பண்ணாங்க. அடுத்த செட் ஆஃப் இஷ்யூ என்ன வந்துச்சுன்னா, கவர்மெண்ட்ஸுக்கு வந்து எங்களால் ப்ரொபகண்டா பண்ண முடியல, இஃப் வி ஆர் ஸ்ப்ரெடிங் எ ஃபேக் நியூஸ் யூ ஆர் கண்ட்ரோலிங் இட், ஹவ் கேன் வி அக்செப்ட் அப்படின்ற அந்த கேள்வி வந்துருச்சு. ஸோ பேஸ்ட் ஆன் த பொலிட்டிக்கல் சிச்சுவேஷன் தே ஆர் சேஞ்சிங் தேர் பாலிசிஸ் நவ் அண்ட் தென். ஸோ இப்போ இந்த ஃபேக்ட் செக்கிங் டேக் டவுன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. தட் இஸ் நாட் அ ஃபேர் திங். அட்லீஸ்ட் வி ஷுட் நோ தட் வாட் இஸ் ஃபேக், வாட் இஸ் மிஸ்இன்ஃபர்மேஷன். வி ஆர் நாட் ஏபிள் டு கண்ட்ரோல் எவ்ரி திங். எல்லா ஃபேக் நியூஸுக்கும் ஆன்சர் கொடுக்க முடியுமானா முடியாது. அட்லீஸ்ட் டு சம் வைரல் கண்டென்ட் வி ஹாவ் அ டிஸ்க்ளைமர். ஈவன் தே ஆர் நாட் ரெடி டு ரிமூவ் த கான்டென்ட், பட் we are just adding, some more angle is there. So ஸோ அதுவுமே டேக் டவுன் பண்ணுறதுங்கிறது ஒரு ஆபத்தான
But in
விஷயம் தான்.
India, right now, I think we can take down content because it has resulted in mob lynching and all. There was a child kidnapping thing and all that. So as of now, I think they under the IT intermediary rules, content which is seen to cause such situations can be pulled down. But again, for that we will need this fact checking aspect.
Again, we should not remove content also. Like how can we remove the content? That is not fair thing.
No,
That will affect this free speech. Sorry, I'm overlapping. Like if you are writing something, you have an opinion or you know the fact, and I am denying.
No, I am talking about fake news, sir. So
Yeah,
where
I can understand.
First,
answering for the same only. You are claiming it as true. I'm claiming it as fake. If it can create a violence, I can add points and I can take action. Yes, that is fair. But if you are giving a criticism about government or a person or who is in power, so if you have the power to remove also, that is an issue.
Will be,
that is an issue.
Infringement of free speech.
Yeah, that is an issue. So I won't support removing the content from social media.
So the recent case of this one Ranveer Allahabadia on Instagram, I have now jumped to another thing, has been so there are people arguing that he is exercising his right to free speech, but then where is the line? So anyways.
Yeah, we do have the our constitution doesn't support full free speech. We have certain
we have
limitations.
Reasonable restrictions, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing on this, which is, of course, Elon Musk, there was a mention.
Yeah.
Now, Twitter has this method where for fact checking, they put out the news and they crowdsource. So people could come and say, this is true, this is incorrect, right? So Facebook has now started, that's what they're planning to do. So definitely, I mean, do you think that's a way forward? Do you think that's a solution? Because you're relying on the power of crowd to come and give their views, whether it's a right fact or not. So a fact podranga, there are people who come and say, instead of one body, right? Because, so that is the problem why Meta fact checking was removed, was the question that was asked is, who will fact check the fact checker? Right? And right?
To interject there, I think we had that similar issue with the case of PIB fact check. So we had PIB fact check that was kind of, biased when it comes to news, and that issue was there. So to add to what you just said. And I think crowdsourcing is how most fact-checking organizations now work, if I'm right, isn't it, sir? So the crowdsourcing of the data checking, and most of the ones work on the individual fact-checking, yes, but they collect the information from various sources and double-check.
Exactly. We can add context, but I don't think that is a fact check. We can add context.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Now.
Yeah, and sorry. So who will check the fact checker is a fair question again. Unfortunately, we are having a lot of fake news pleaders, and who is daring enough to spread hatred and challenge the very own country's sovereignty or peace. And if we are going to hire the fact checkers to give the context, we are going to fact check based on the facts, and they have particular set of rules and signatories there. There is a protocol, and IFCN is there. There is an international fact-checking network. They have set of bias checking, and of course, and whenever we do a fact check, we have to give proper citation, proper data, and like that they do have a lot of criteria to check the fact checkers. That is the standard they set already. So within the standards, we are not going to deliberately reject a claim or say that is fake. We have the own responsibility, and with that only everyone can fact check. The thing is, it's more political again. People don't want to love the fact checkers because they are doing the fact check.
Right. Now to the media academics here. I'm an academic myself, but this question of AI and its use to do research, what is your take on that? Dr. Jayakrishnan, and followed by Dr. Deborah.
Yeah, so let me also just add to one point before I come to your question, ma'am. So I think you had mentioned about bias that is existing and that it learns the bias through the inputs given, right, as in the AI generating platforms. So one example recently was with regard to the DeepSeek one. So someone had posted a question to it asking about details on Tiananmen Square massacre. And very happily, the AI platform said, I don't have information. So see, it's again on the basis of which country to which the the platform belongs and the inherent biases that are there, the protective mechanisms that are in. I think that in some way reflects in the outputs too. Okay, now to answer your question, ma'am. Okay, so see, research has been evolving with technology. We have seen research earlier, say for instance, while my dad did his PhD, I mean, we can go on to go beyond that too, but while he was doing his PhD, for him, he had to depend on actual libraries, go sit and read for a very, very long time, and if books were not available, he had to, send letters to foreign universities, get copies. I mean, that was through the university, that is, yes. So a very roundabout mechanism by which he got his books and all that. But when it came to us, I think, yeah, we did go to libraries, but large number of our data was more, everything that we did with regard to reading was either through, guys don't, take it seriously, LibGen, yeah, and many other mechanisms too. And we had so much of resources of online content and, yeah. So I think, but then someone can question, is that research? Yeah, coming from the orthodox point of view of what research is, then sitting at a place and reading is not research anymore. I mean, for them, you have to go around places, and that is research. So the definition of research when it comes to lit review or data collection, I think it changes from time to time, and I think we are in that defining moment while we are looking at how AI comes in.
That brings me to another question, which maybe I should have asked earlier to academia. Do media students need to be trained in AI use? I mean, how important is it?
Indeed. So I think that also is a very relevant question. I'll just sum up the first part and then come to this too. So I think as long as the mechanism is not where the AI gives you the research itself, it's fine. Because for instance, Genie AI, if you're looking at that platform, or our research, I think, yeah. Anyway, these are all lit review mechanisms that does, that kind of speeds up the process of reading very, very fast. So it kind of gives you the entire academic network. You are doing your literature review, yes, in the proper manner, yes, but at greater speed. What took you 6 months to do, you can do it in 1 month or lesser, which is a good part. But if you're just depending on the AI to do your research, yes, then there is a lot of problem. That's one. Then to answer your second question, for me, see, there are multiple courses that I take, and one of that is English for journalism for the introductory batch students. And I ask students to write, various sorts of assignment, including gibberish. And you won't believe, ma'am, everything comes from. Someone doesn't want me to speak, I guess. Yeah. So, but then I have to go about a roundabout process, ask them to come stand, read, re-narrate everything that they wrote so that I can double check what they wrote and what they have. We have to go about all these mechanisms. But if you are training them to properly use it, say we are anyway incorporating that into design, we are anyway incorporating that into editing, color grading, everything, say DaVinci or Photoshop and anything that you look, we have the AI integrated into it. So why not also look at language that way, so that people with poor language skills, if they can be helped to write as long as the content is original. So yeah, the training can be given is what I think.
Training, especially the prompt engineering part.
Yes.
So that they are able to use the right prompt to get what they're looking for. All right. Dr. Deborah?
So to answer to your question, I think ethics come into play a lot when it comes to AI and research. So, most of the students, they actually do, we receive a lot of assignments, right? And they actually do a cut, copy, paste work from ChatGPT. And since you know how they've taken it, and they don't even they're gracious enough to even remove certain words that it is from ChatGPT, right? So they take technology for granted. So I should say that as students, you'll have to be more responsible enough rather than, depend on the technology to get the best use of it, but not at the stake of, selling your own brains. I don't believe in that, right? So you will have to basically know what you're doing, and you will have to have a master over AI and not be a servant or a slave to AI, right? So that is where your role comes in. So are you going to earn a degree which is generated by AI at the end of the day, or is your degree really valid, or is it true to your conscience that you have earned your degree, right? So, and also when you do research, I think your basic research, your analysis, your data collection, all that has to be done by you and then looked up to AI for condensing your work, to polish your work. I think there the AI comes in and not completely. Yes. Okay. And to also structure your research, like ma'am said. So you will have to know where you will have to use AI and where you shouldn't use AI, right? And please always, even if AI is going to help you out to doing your work, make sure you read after AI generates. The saddest part is that, we come across so many students who don't even have the patience or don't even mind to take a second look at what AI has generated, and they just submit, right? So don't just read up just for the sake of getting your marks, or just finishing it off. I've lost time, and yeah, I should make it up, and I should look up to AI to do my work. No, don't do that. Be true to yourself. I think everything boils down to the values that you have at the end of the day. So I think that is where you and AI should stand apart. And yeah, as an educationalist, this all.
Yeah, I'd like to add something to it because there is so much of information available. How to put the technology to best use would be something that we can teach our students. Like, what is the best way to use it? And, take content from relevant sources and use that to, condense it. And if you have a work, how you can structure the work, what aspects can be looked into, can be the GPT tools could be used for all those as well. All right. I'd like to now ask one question which any one of you all can answer, or I could have all of you all, answer to that as well. So, what do you think is the biggest risk AI poses to media, and how can we mitigate it? Would you see that as a risk in the first place? And if that is, how could we mitigate it?
Okay, actually I will say it's not a threat, it's an opportunity. But where, how we going to use is an important thing. Like, நம்ம வந்து இப்போ ஏஐ வருது, ஏஐ வந்தோடனே நம்ம கான்டென்ட்டை ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ஆர்டிக்கிள் எழுதுறதுக்கு நீங்கள் ஏஐ பயன்படுத்த போகிறீங்கன்னா அது உங்களுக்கு பெரிய மோசமான விஷயம். உங்கள் க்ரியேட்டிவிட்டியை கொண்டுட்டு நீங்கள் ஒரு ஸ்டோரி எழுதுறதுக்கோ அல்லது வந்து ஒரு ஆர்டிக்கிள் எழுதுறதுக்கோ எஃபர்ட் போடாமல் நம்மளால் ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணிக்க முடியும்னு பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா தட்ஸ் எண்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்டோரி, எண்ட் ஆஃப் யுவர் ஸ்டோரி. ஸோ அதே நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணலான்னா, டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் த கான்செப்ட், வேரியஸ் சைட்ஸை தேடி ஒன்றுலையும் கண்டென்ட் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு பதிலாக இட் வில் கம்பைல் அண்ட் கிவ் இட் டு இன் யுவர் ஹேண்ட்ஸ். It's easy if you want to understand a concept, and if you want to learn a technology, or what are the questions you have about the journalism or screen play writing, எப்படி பண்ணணும், screen play ஆன ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் என்னவாக இருக்கணும். If you ask the question, it will answer and you will use it. அப்புறம் நீங்கள் படித்த டேட்டாவை அதிலிருந்து ஒரு 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 chat வரையணும் அப்படின்னா you can use it. This is the data you have, and இதில் ஒரு சாட்டை ட்ரா பண்ணணும், அதுக்கு நீங்கள் யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். மேக் யூஸ் ஆஃப் ஏஐ இன்ஸ்டெட் ஆஃப் அதை ஃபுல்லாக டிபெண்ட் ஆகிறதுங்கிறது வந்து டேஞ்சர். நம்ம ஆர்டிக்கல் எழுதுறதுக்கே அதை தான் பயன்படுத்த போகிறோன்னா யூஸ் இல்லை. பட் ஆர்டிக்கல் எழுதுறதுக்கு அதிலேருந்து நம்ம இன்புட் எடுத்துக்க போகிறோம், அல்லது ஆர்டிக்கலில் ஈஸியாக நம்ம அந்த சேட் வரைகிறதுக்கோ, அந்த டேட்டா பாயிண்ட்ஸை வந்து வேறு மாதிரி ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கோ, அதுலேருந்து ஒரு இமேஜ் ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணுறதுக்கோ நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணிக்க போகிறோன்னா that will be very useful. So in that way, as you said, like best way of using AI என்ன, இந்த அப்ளிகேஷன் நமக்கு எப்படிலாம் ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும், ஜேர்னலிசம் என்ஹான்ஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு, நம்மளை என்ஹான்ஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு என்னவெல்லாம் பண்ண போகிறோன்றதை பார்க்குறது தான் பெஸ்ட் ப்ராக்டிஸ். அண்ட் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் ஃபுல்லாக கட் காப்பி பேஸ்ட்டுக்கு இணையானது தான் சாட் ஜிபிடியில் நம்ம வந்து ஒரு ஆர்டிக்கல் எழுதுறது. இன்றைக்கி வந்து ஃபேண்டாஸ்டிக்காக ஆர்டிக்கல் எழுது. இஃப் தெர் இஸ் கான்டென்ட் அந்த ஹெட்லைன்ஸ் இருந்துச்சுனாவே ஃபேண்டாஸ்டிக்காக ஆர்டிக்கல் எழுது. இன்னொரு விஷயம் என்னென்னா, நான் ஒரு ரைட்டிங் ஸ்டைல் இருக்குது, நான் ஒரு 10 ஆர்டிக்கல் எழுதியிருக்கேன் அப்படின்னா, என்னோடய ரைட்டிங் ஸ்டைலை அப்லோட் பண்ணி என்ன மாதிரியே இந்த ஆர்டிக்கல் எழுதி கொடு அப்படின்னு சொன்னால், என்னோடய ஸ்டைல்லையே அந்த ஆர்டிக்கல் எழுதி தர்றதுக்கான சான்சஸ் இருக்குது. ஸோ அதெல்லாம் எப்போ யூஸ் பண்ணணும், எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்றது வந்து நம்ம கையில் தான் இருக்குது. நம்ம க்ரியேட்டிவிட்டியை காலி பண்ணி, நம்மளோட அறிவை காலி பண்ணி கம்ப்ளீட்டாக நம்ம சாட் ஜிபிடியை ரிலே பண்ண போகிறோம் அப்படின்னா ஷுவர்லி தட் வில் நாட் ஒர்க். புதுசாக எதையும் எவால்வ் பண்ணாது, இருக்கிறதுலேயே நம்ம திரும்ப சுற்றிட்டு இருப்போம். தட் இஸ் அ சீரியஸ் த்ரெட் டு ஹியூமனிட்டி, ஐ கெஸ். நம்ம யோசிக்கிறத இன்னோவேஷன்ஸை இது ஸ்டாப் பண்ண போதுன்னா தட் இஸ் அ பிக்கஸ்ட் த்ரெட். பட் இஃப் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு மேக் யூஸ் ஆஃப் இட், திஸ் இஸ் த பெஸ்ட் திங்.
Okay, so I would like to understand it this way, that finally adla vandu or human touch irukku, like how we are using it. Ipo content vechu, like you need to identify what all needs to be there in that article, and then if you have also fed data to make it understand that this is my style, and then you have everything in place. Right, finally, like what you said, if we use the technology in the right manner, it will be good rather than seeing it as a threat as well, right? So I think today's
I want to add one thing to this. We have not yet touched about this discussion. So first of all, for research, OpenAI vandu deep research nu or model it has just launched. It's not yet come in India. So that exactly, so what were you doing in research? You went, you read multiple sources, you assimilated that source, and then you put them out in your words, and there's a model that is doing it for you, right? We like it, we don't like it, but that's what it is doing. But this is the bigger point which we have missed, and I'm glad towards the end we are coming out, is this whole thing about AGI and about human intelligence, right? So with 2 years back, when we did bunch of experiment with 3.5 GPT or even Gemini, it was called Da Vinci. அது வந்து அதுக்கு கணக்கு வராது. It couldn't do mathematics, it couldn't do engineering problems, right? But right now with DeepSeek Math was one of the first models, or with GPT 4.01, fantastically it's doing those mathematical problems, right? So actually, even as educationists, I would like you all to question about, I mean, let's be honest, the student out there is going to say, why should I be reading this? Right? Why should I? Night before the exam I should sit and be doing it. So I think we should be viewing, I mean, whether we like it or not, AI at least forcing us to way in which we are going to ask them, right? Do you want them to just repeat what is there in a book for an examination? Or do you want to see what their critical thinking is? Is it the way in which...
So it can be used to make them think critically as well.
That is the thing. And of course, if this whole thing of AGI, I think this year they expect it to be a big year where, at least the models are showing data, right? So it's going to be much more complicated. As you said, in media, there are style guides. I don't want to name. So there are style guides which are being made with training data. So what literally the input is, ஒரு ஜேர்னலிஸ்ட் வந்து ப்ரெஸ் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் போய் நோட்ஸ் எழுதுறாரு, தட் கேன் நெவர் பி ரீப்ளேஸ் பை ஏஐ, அட்லீஸ்ட் ஆஸ் திங் ஸ்டாண்ட்ஸ் ரைட் நவ். என்ன பெக்கு, என்ன வாட் ஹி ஹாஸ் டு கவர், ஹி டேக்ஸ் டவுன் தோஸ் புல்லட் பாயிண்ட்ஸ், ஹி கம்ஸ் பேக், ஆர் இன் கேஸ் ஆஃப் திஸ் வீடியோ, it's going to be the chat transcript or the video, you put the chat transcript and you still say, I'd like you to highlight on what Ayan Karthikeyan said, I'd like you to highlight on what Unni said or Venkat said or whatever, and then it generates. So that aspect so that's not there. But these are absolutely valid questions, and I don't think we have answers as yet, and we need to find out the answer together. We need to know where we are, we don't know where we are going, so let's figure this out together is where I'm coming from.
Just to add to what all of you said, so you had asked a question, what is the biggest threat that you think, as in that we think AI is posing? So one thing that I wanted to add that is with regard to the art value part. In the beginning, Sir said about AI not replacing music, and he's saying that, very optimistically and thankfully, that my career in music is probably safe.
That you have a plan B in place. Okay.
Yeah, but there also the danger is already there. One of my good friends, he had just developed a violin. Yeah, you saw that, I guess. Yes. So the violin, it's an AI-based thing, so it's able to, as in Carnatic music, we have a violin accompaniment. So what you sing is all reproduced by the violin. So now he has come up with this machine that can listen, repeat, also improvise a little bit depending on the raga necessity. It follows you. Now completely, if you're looking at, say, if you're practicing as a solo in your room, then if you have this machine, it's going to cost, I'm sure. Still, if you're able to get that, then it might do the accompaniment part for you. And today it's just the first step. 10 years from now, we don't know where that is going. So one thing that seems to be, the biggest debate for me at least is, what is art? Be it film, be it music, be it painting, be it anything, design, anything that is generated with the help of AI, can we still call it art? So if you look at Cézanne, the great artist, he once said that anything that does not have emotion in it, that's not art anymore. So going by that, even if a little bit tweaking has been done with AI, can we still call it art? Because, after this Hollywood strike and other things, 2 recent films, they're now going through this problem. See, I think it's the two, I forget the name of the film. So both of them had some dialogues, mere dialogues that were tweaked. That's all. But then the question is, if you go back to 1993, where Shobhana won her national award for a Malayalam film, she performed as a dancer, and all the dialogues in that film were dubbed by another artist. So the national award was given to her. Questions were asked, how can she claim her award because she only acted? The sound acting was done by somebody else. So similarly today for, be it facial expression enhancement or dubbing, we are using AI. Now there is a contribution of AI, so that is eating into what we call as the human genius, which is by which we describe art. So there, I think that is where the very definition of art and art aesthetics may require to be recalibrated, looking at where AI is coming at this point of time. And I think that is quite a bit of a danger.
So I would like to add 2 more things to what you said very closely, is about the transhumanism and digital immortality that can happen very soon. Because even after we die, when we kind of feed to AI our thinking process, or what we are reading, or what we want to do, or what we are researching upon, and when we kind of store this into the cloud spaces, and people can actually access our thinking pattern and neural networks even after we die, and take on research or take on whatever we have left behind from there. So that part is actually happening right now. People are actually experimenting with the transhumanism and digital immortality. So a person actually really never dies, and there is no death when it comes to thinking or whatever research that particular person is doing. So for example, Einstein may not be dead at all. Yeah, what he has done forever, from whatever he has thought or whatever he has conceived or whatever he's been doing, might be done 100 times more from the patterns of thinking that he has stored in for us. So this is happening, and AI is actually helping, especially in the educational realm that we're having right now.
Interesting. Very interesting perspective. Yeah, AI is being used even to create a lot of, even in the archaeological space and so on and so forth. Right. I think we have come to the end of the time permitted to us. We had a very interesting discussion on AI and media from the professionals working in this space, as well as from the academia. Dr. Vasant, do I open it for a Q&A, or do I? If there are any questions.
Actually, my question revolves around the student's perspective. Like everyone, or the way the pattern where the glow world is going on, or the way it is moving, it seems like only AI will be leading the next generation. it is looking, or it seems like humanoid is going to be like something which is being adapted to a setting. Like we work daily, we sleep, we eat, we work. That is the routine going on after the COVID period. But after coming of this AI, it seems like it is been inbuilt inside the human being. We get up, we wake up by setting an alarm. We have a timer in that. That is itself an AI, which makes us, or which makes the work driven. It makes us think that we need to do some work after that set of time. Then after this period, I do think that we would even have a timing that it would suggest us what to do next. Then we don't plan ourselves what we need to do for the next generation. It seems like everything is being driven by some technology, and we adapt to it, and we change ourselves with the nature. But every day sun wakes up at the same time what it has to, the same time moon comes, everything is being parallelly done with the universe. Then why does human goes in this path? What do you see this as?
It's too philosophical, but you're saying if a question, I didn't still get the question. So if you have a question, I would attempt. But yeah, I do understand. You're saying that we are doing a monotonous machine kind of repetitive stuff.
Do you ask like why AI?
Why AI is not my question. It is a part and parcel of our life. Like what I'm asking is, we do use our calculator. Simply making it more simple, we do use our calculator in our phone or a general pattern in formulated way. But we don't have it for like daily use of pattern. Sometimes we go to shop, we pay, we do have our own calculation. Okay, he is having this, then there is a price inflation or there is a recession in the prices. We have our own calculation. But when it comes to our work, we set everything. Like we have a daily goal, daily plan, daily task. We do according to that. But in coming this, after the COVID period, I do analyze many people, they have, like there are many apps in phone which have the goals, tasks to be tracked daily. But why do we go in that path? We don't come in the, like how the nature is going on. Like what previous 10 years it was. We do have everything to be simplified with ChatGPT, AI, Meta, and Facebook, Twitter, everything is being handled. But why only this? We don't make our own routine, our own steady plans by ourselves or with the nature. Like for simple texting or having an ideology pattern, we don't refer text. We go in the media pattern. Why is that going so? Or is this correct to be adapted by the coming generations?
See, we have to adapt whatever the technology, new technology is there. We have to upgrade and update. That is inevitable. Okay? லைக் இந்த மாதிரியான கேள்வி எப்போல்லாம் புது டெக்னாலஜி வருதோ அப்போல்லாம் வரும். ஏன் அதை நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணணும், அதை ஏன் நம்ம எடுத்துக்கணும் அப்படின்ற கேள்வி. ஃபஸ்ட்டு இஃப் ஐ எம் நாட் ராங், ஒரு வீல் கண்டுபிடிச்சது தான் உலகத்தை மாற்றுச்சுன்னு சொல்கிறாங்கல்ல, அந்த வீலை கூட கொஸ்டின் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. எதுக்கு வீல், எதுக்கு அதை யூஸ் பண்ணுறீங்க, இதெல்லாம் தேவையா அப்படின்னு. இப்போ நம்ம ஊர்லலாம் பெண்களுக்கு வந்து கிரைண்டர்னு ஒன்று வந்துச்சா, அது பெரிய அளவுக்கு பெண்கள் தான் யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க இல்லையா. ஃபஸ்ட்டு கொஸ்டின் என்ன கேட்டாங்கன்னா, கிரைண்டர் யூஸ் பண்ணாதீங்க, கையில் ஆட்டுங்க, அதுதான் ஆரோக்கியம் அப்படின்னாங்க. கரெக்டாக? அந்த கிரைண்டரு நீங்கள் பயன்படுத்தாமல் இருக்க போகிறதில்ல, அது வந்தே ஆகும், அதை நீங்கள் தவிர்க்கவே முடியாது. அது மாதிரி இப்போ இருக்கிற டெக்னாலஜியை யூ கேனாட் இக்னோர் அண்ட் லிவ். திஸ் இஸ் த நியூ டெக்னாலஜி, யூ ஹேவ் டு லிவ் வித் இட். நீங்கள் அதை கற்றுக்கிட்டு தான் செய்யணும், அது உங்கள் பயன்பாட்டில் இருக்க தான் போகுது. நீங்கள் கற்றுக்கிறத தவிர்க்கலாம் அல்லது தவிர்க்காமல் போகலாம். உலகம் அதை நோக்கி போயிட்டுருக்கு இல்லையா. டைப்ரைட்டர் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்குது கேள்விப்பட்டீங்களா? டைப்ரைட்டர்.
Yes, a keyboard, mouse, everything.
There was typewriter and there was typewriting class in all the town cities. Everyone will learn in past and all, right? After computer is the new technology. கம்ப்யூட்டர் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தாங்க, டைப்ரைட்டர் யூஸ் பண்ணவங்களாம் என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா, கம்ப்யூட்டர் யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டேன் அப்படின்னாங்க. எதுக்கு கம்ப்யூட்டர், எனக்கு தான் டைப்ரைட்டர் இருக்குல்ல அப்படின்னாங்க. அவங்களாம் என்ன இருப்பாங்க 10 வருஷம் கழிச்சு? கம்ப்யூட்டரை கற்றுக்கிட்டவங்க தொடர்ந்து ஃபீல்டில் இருந்திருப்பாங்க, தொடர்ந்து வேலை செஞ்சுட்டு இருந்திருப்பாங்க. டைப்ரைட்டர் மட்டும் எனக்கு போதும்னு சொன்னாங்க, காணாமல் போயிருப்பாங்க. இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் டு மூவ் ஃபர்தர், யூ வாண்ட் டு அடாப்ட் த நியூ டெக்னாலஜி. எனக்கு வந்து பட்டன் ஃபோன் தான் யூஸ் பண்ணுவேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நிறைய பேர் இருப்பாங்க. இன்றைக்கி பட்டன் ஃபோனே கிடையாது. வி ஆர் யுவர் டச், ஃபெதர் டச், இந்த ஃபோன் தான் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணுறோம் இல்லையா. ஸோ எப்போ ஒரு புது டெக்னாலஜி இருந்தாலும் வேணான்னு சொல்கிறதுங்கிறது வந்து நம்மளை இந்த பழையதுலேயே நம்ம இருக்க போகிறோன்றதுக்கான அடையாளம். நம்ம புது டெக்னாலஜி அடாப்ட் தான் ஆகணும். அதில் லிமிட்டேஷன்ஸ் இருக்கும், சிக்கல் இருக்கும். பட் நம்ம புதுசாக அடாப்ட் ஆகிட்டு தான் ஆகணும். ஷர்ட் போட்டோம்ல, ட்ரெஸ்ஸு போட்டோம்ல, அதே ஒரு நியூ டெக்னாலஜி தான் இல்லையா. நான் பழைய மாதிரியே இருப்பேன் அப்படின்னா அது வந்து கன்சர்வேட்டிவ் ஐடியாலஜி. அந்த கன்சர்வேட்டிவ் ஐடியாலஜியை நம்ம உடைக்க தான் செய்யணும். புதுசாக போடுறோம்ல, ஏன் கண்ணாடி போடணும், நம்ம பழைய மாதிரியே இருக்கலாம்ல, அந்த மாதிரியான கொஸ்டின் தான் அது. ஸோ we always want to adapt. Human race evolves We have to accept the evolving idea, technology, and we want to know, right? Thank you.
Just last question. Sorry for the disturbances. So as you stated earlier that we have worn a shirt, we have...
இந்த question எனக்கு தானா?
No, it's general question, sir. As you stated, whoever has a doubt, they can ask. So as a second question for this, so you said that we need to adapt according to the climate, what it is been going on. If it is rainy, we need to have raincoats and umbrellas likewise. Like in this case, as you suggested earlier, like we need to adapt to the changes. Then cancer is coming, use a smartphone, button phone is not there, hacking is coming. As you stated, wearing shirt, I do understand, but our evolution is not...
எதில் வந்தீங்க?
Motorcycle, sir.
Motorcycle.
Yes.
Cycle வரலாம்ல?
Good for health, sir.
Yeah? ஏன் ஹெல்த் மீறி பண்ணுறீங்க? ஏன் பண்ணுறீங்க?
We need to survive, sir.
It saves your time.
Yeah.
World works in that way. நமக்கு நேரத்தை மிச்சப்படுத்துறது தான் பண்ணுறோம். நம்ம பண்ணுற எல்லா வேலையும் நம்ம வேலையை குறைக்கும். இப்போ எல்லாம் யோசித்து இதெல்லாம் பண்ணி முடிச்சுட்டு இப்போ என்ன பண்ணுறோம்னா நம்ம யோசிக்கணுமான்னு யோசிக்கிறோம். நம்ம யோசிக்க வேறு செய்யணுமா, அது ஒரு வேலையாக இருக்கே அப்படின்னு யோசிச்சுட்டு நமக்கு பதிலாக கம்ப்யூட்டர் யோசிக்கிறதுக்கான வேலையை செஞ்சிட்ருக்கோம். ஓகேவா? நம்ம வந்து தங்கிட்டோம்னா அங்கேயே தங்கிடுவோம். இப்போ அரை மணி நேரம் ஆகுது நீங்கள் ஊரில் இருந்து உங்கள் வீட்டிலேருந்து வர்றதுக்கு, மோட்டர் சைக்கிள் வந்தீங்கன்னா 5 மினிட்ஸில் வந்துடலாம். அஃப்கோர்ஸ் அதில் வந்து கார்பன் எமிஷன் இருக்கா இல்லையா, பிரச்சனை இருக்கா இல்லையா, ஆக்சிடென்ட் ஆகுமா இல்லையா, வழியில் யாராவது இடிச்சிருங்களா இல்லையா, எல்லாம் இருக்குது. வி ஹேவ் டு அடாப்ட். அதெல்லாம் தாண்டி தான் நம்ம அடாப்ட் பண்ணுறோம் இல்லையா. இஷ்யூஸ் வரதான் செய்யும், ஹேக்கிங் இருக்க தான் செய்யும். வீட்டை பிரித்து ஓட்டை பிரித்து உள்ளே குதிச்சு திருந்தாங்கல்ல, பிக் பாக்கெட் அடித்தாங்கல்ல, இப்போ கார்டு மேலே 16 நம்பர் இருக்குன்னு சொல்கிறோம், அவ்வளோதான். அதுக்கு நீங்கள் யூ ஹேவ் டு அவேர். ஓகே, இதெல்லாம் ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்குது, அந்த ப்ராப்ளம் எப்படி நம்ம சால்வ் பண்ண போகிறோம், நம்ம எப்படி வந்து சேஃபாக இருக்க போகிறோன்றதை யூ ஹேவ் டு லேர்ன். சிஸ்டம் அடாப்ட் பண்ணணும். நீங்கள் இப்போ நீங்கள் நோ சொன்னீங்கன்னா ஓப்பன் சோர்ஸாக இருக்க டீப் சீக்கை மூடிடுவாங்களா? You will be in a particular position, you will say no and you will not adapt. There is no other possibility to overcome this, right? You have to understand, you have to accept. Accepting technology is fine.
Yeah, I do understand, sir. What my core point is, today's generation is moving in the same direction as you're stating, like adapting and renewing the same thing.
What direction we can go? Please suggest.
So today even Britain and UK, like all the advanced countries,
I just want to come and say one statement which I started with.
Yes, sir.
In life, you always do things.
Yes, sir.
When there are tools with which you can do those things better, you will start doing better things.
Got it, sir.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
And
You will
Dude, you are so young. Sir is the senior most person in the campus, I guess.
Got it, sir.
So he's ready to adopt the technology, learn the technology, and he's bringing some cool dudes to do some AI stuffs. You have to be enough curious, right? Youngsters should be more curious.
Yes, sir.
And he's ready to learn the new technology. When a youngster comes and says AI is too much, that is not okay, right?
No, when we get to know what the negative is, we get to know what the advantage is.
There
So
will
it
be
makes
negative.
the path more clearer where we got to.
Yeah, I allowed to answer you. I want to make you understand. So that is a problem for me. What
Even
can I
in
do?
today's our projects, we use ChatGPT and another tools for the fundamental
I
analysis.
asked my 15 minutes appointment.
Thank you, sir.
And
I got the answer actually.
I
which
gave you a
stated.
20 minutes appointment now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thanks for asking the question.
Welcome, sir.
Just one point. New technologies will bring new problems, and new technologies will come to solve the new problems also. Yeah, so everything is going in this, like sir said, getting the job done in a sooner, better manner. If there is a problem, another better, solution will come for that, again through technology. Unfortunately or fortunately. Yes.
Right. I think with this we'll end today's session. Thank you to all the dignitaries present for the panel.
Thank you so much.